think that the fact that we were really the last of the professional soldier had a lot to do with it, that it was drummed into us and it was our choice to be in the army and we wanted to do everything right. 1965, the year we got there, I think national service started. And the next lot to come, all the ones that come afterwards, was full with what we used to call cut-lunch soldiers and whatnot because they weren't permanent men.
Have you got your address now, though? Have you sent that back down to Danny, or no?
No, well, I don't know what's going on.
Well, the last one. Flick your address down to us, either to Danny or to myself.
I'll give it here. I'll give it here today while I'm sober.
Yeah.
And if anything happens again, there's another reunion.
Yeah, well, there is. There's another one, 5 years away, mate.
Right.
So,
I will be.
Yeah.
6 weeks, you see, and as a boy, and a girl who's 18 months.
How long did it take you to come down?
They came in by bus and all.
No, down by bus, all the way from where? First from Townsville.
So you appear in print there in Silver City, yeah.
Inside where?
There's a bit of body. There's John Lee. There's another one.
Yeah, Lane, that's his name. Lane,
yeah,
Lane.
We all move onto the roadway, please. Ladies, children to move here onto the grass. Ladies and children will be looked after by someone else, but I'm here to march you down to the unveiling. So we want the markers up level where the staff car is, and we want you in fours. Think you remember that? Fours, right, move now. Right, you can take the advanced position and face me, fellas. Yes, remember it's fours today. Yes, same move. Same move. Yeah, right. Uncle Moss. Hang on, and I'll touch you, mate. Right, let's see what we can remember. Gentlemen, let's see what we can remember to try and get ourselves in fours nice and easily without putting your arms up. 3 to 10, con. Parade, right, dress. Con. Righto, for those of you who would have been observant, I'm not of the faith. I've got the wrong colour lanyard and the wrong bombs on. However, for all of that, I was part of you, and I still own what you used to call home. I'm the RSM of these barracks today. I was with Street Troop in Vietnam, so I'm part of the reunion. My job is to get you from here, down to the monument.
What a job has you got?
Now, it involves me in giving you very few orders. They will be attention, right turn, quick march, halt, left turn. Having done that, I'm finished and the Padres will take over. And may God help them. We will have the colours with us, and so there is a certain amount of courtesy due to the colours that we will pay. So keep your ears open. There will be a band in front, and with a little bit of luck, we'll end up down at the unveiling as a body of formed soldiers, or ex-soldiers, and not as a rabble. Thank you. Quick! March!
They were young 20-year-old Australians who were proud to be in the army and looking forward to doing a job that their country had asked them to do. I think the fact that it was the 1st Battalion, I'm a little prejudiced about the 1st Battalion, I guess, but they were one of those earlier battalions. They had already built up a spirit. Remember, we're talking now 20 years later, so they were, I guess they were about 20, 21. Now they're 40, 41. Their characters are pretty good now. I'm not sure what they were like 20 years ago. It was an experience of learning something that was much broader than Australia. And I think if you talk to any of those men who were there 20 years ago, they will say that they learnt a lot, they matured a lot, they saw the difficulties that other people have.
Jerry Cudmore, our chaplain, will conduct the service, assisted by Lou Brumfield and other members of the committee. After the colours are marched off at the conclusion, we will dismiss on the spot so that you can have a closer look at the memorial.
Bless, O Lord, this memorial which we bless and dedicate today. May it serve as a reminder to us of all that is good and noble. May it remind us and all who pass by that peace and freedom are not won without sacrifice. May it prompt us to work for a society built on peace and justice. And may we always be worthy of the many gifts you have given us.
Friends, comrades, our guests, you'll all remember there'd been the chance of involvement in South Vietnam or somewhere in that area for some time before we left. And much of our training in the old battle group days had been devoted to counter-revolutionary warfare. And when, in April '60...
I don't think anyone wanted to go. I don't think anyone could have been that stupid to want to go and leave what we have here, to go and put your life on the line. There was a certain excitement involved going, which a lot of people were interested in, as in time immemorial young Australians have been, in every war. But I don't think anyone ever expressed to anybody saying, I don't want to go, because if he hadn't, there'd have been 20 or 30 people who stepped into his place straight away. Plus the fact, you talk about the regimental environment, you'd feel as though you were letting your mates down if you didn't go, and you trained together. If you didn't want to go, or you didn't want to soldier, then you shouldn't be in the army.
When we were sitting watching television, and the Prime Minister came on and said a battalion would be sent to Vietnam. No, he said 1 battalion would be sent to Vietnam. And my husband said, that'll be us. And I said, no, he didn't say the 1st Battalion, he said 1 battalion. Right? I wouldn't accept that. And we waited up to the late news, and when he came on then he said the 1st Battalion would be sent, and that's when we first heard about Vietnam.
There's been so much talk about it, you know, we sort of guessed we were going, and I mean, we'd had the advisors there, so we knew we were going to Vietnam. I think everybody was pretty sort of apprehensive, is a better word, right? I don't think anybody was terribly excited about the idea of going, but, you know.
Well, I remember sitting out the back of... I put a letter in to say that I personally didn't want to go because I was getting married. My mother would miss me and a few other things. By the time the CSM... Actually, that's the truth. By the time he'd spoke to me, and he virtually did say, he said, well, if you don't go, we've got to fill your position with someone else. You know, and he reasons with you. And you sort of, you know, and I had 13 months to serve, left in the army, and I only had to do a 12-month stint. And he just handed me the paper, and I ripped it up myself. It was. I didn't want to go because I had that. I was scared of it, I suppose, of not coming back. But when I sat down and thought, I joined the army to, if you have to put it that way, protect Australia, and I, you know, I just knew that I had to go. You just couldn't let your mates down.
Lance Corporal T. Ross. Private A.R. Hanson, Private P.R. Gilson, Lance Corporal R.H.J. Parker, Corporal R.H. Hillier, Corporal A.H.T. Fotheringham, Private C. Clark, Private N.W. Horn. Private M.A.F. Wilson.
Because didn't we, when we were crossing the river at that stage,
That's when Les
was standing there with his bloody M79.
Who was?
Big E.
Was he?
He couldn't lay down mortars quickly enough, so he ended up with his own mortars, wishing for a bloody wishing for a 2-inch mortar.
Yeah. Well, that's when Les was running back to his section. He fell over and they told him to get up, but he got one through the head. That's right.
Well, it's lovely to see you here today. I'm so pleased you came. Keep fairly well? Do you keep fairly well?
Oh, yeah, gee, I can do 40 push-ups, no trouble.
I can't.
About 20% of these fellas must have appeared before me on commanding officers' parade for 28 days. And
Would you believe I never appeared in front of him?
Yes, I would. A nice boy like you.
No, honestly, I was never... I only did one CB only for 2 days. Thinking, well, that was company. There wasn't nothing to do with the occasion. I'm really very proud of that. Never in the face of...
I've always been pretty proud of you too, mate.
Yes,
I really have.
I've thought of you often. I thought
See you later.
Okay, I'm see up there, mate.
Yes.
You heading up the road?
I'm going to drive up down.
Okay.
Right. It's very nice to have down here.
Do you remember before that, the first little village we found, and there was a couple of huts there, you know, and they had the dreaded tunnel on the middle floor, because we were all very aware of tunnels, because they told us about tunnels.
Yeah.
So I can remember my whole section standing around, and Gerby Williams was my 2IC, you see. So I said, right, Gerb, go down and clear the tunnel, you see. He said, well, put a hand grenade down. So we throw a hand grenade down, and boom, up it went. Another one, so boom, and up it went.
Must be dead now.
So old Gerb says, right, I'll go down now. So he got my Owen gun, and he gets down the tunnel, and he sort of stuck this thing around there going, and a whole magazine. And he put another magazine and fired that. He said, I'm going in now. And he got around the corner and you could still see his legs. I said, what's wrong? He said, this is the end of the tunnel. It was only about 2 foot long. Oh, it was so funny, really, at the time.
And then we were all laughing. That's the way you had to sort of see it, too. Otherwise
it was hilarious, yeah, at the time. We were roared up. We thought it was a tunnel. All it was sort of like an air raid shelter. They sort of jumped down and got out.
But believe me, they did. They went from here and popped up beyond that tree and popped up over there. They were everywhere.
I disagreed with the conscript to start with. I disagreed with General Williamson, the commander of 173rd Brigade. And I love the man, but he came in believing that they could win the war in a year. And I said, sir, you know, you cannot, in a counter-revolutionary situation, win a war. What you do is re-establish organisational stability. You don't win a war. If you have to kill people in order to do it, that's the way it is. But you are there to re-establish a government, not to defeat an enemy. Defeating an enemy is only a stepping stone in the strategic analysis. What you've got to do is stabilise the government so in fact it has long-term possibilities to remain as a government believed by the people in the democratic sense.
In Malaya, we had a known enemy, like the Chinese, and they were in the jungle, and the rest of the thing was therefore fairly safe, you know, and I believe we had an object to fight, and we were winning, and you could see we were going to win. But I believe, and I felt as soon as we got to Vietnam, the fact that we were never going to win the war, mainly because as professional Australian soldiers, you know, we were fair dinkum because, I mean, that was our job. We were being paid to do it. The Yanks, as you all guys remember, were very, very different. You know, they're very casual approach to everything. And the Vietnamese didn't really appear to care anyway, you know. I mean, the poor old guy out in the bush, the peasant, he was copping from both ends, from our side and from the other side, for support, and therefore he just wanted anybody to win or nobody to win. And the winners, as far as I was concerned straight away, was the Viet Cong. I reckon they were going to win the war in '65. Yeah. You know, and I don't know if you were.
No, I don't. Once I got over there and I saw how powerful America was, and you know all the bloody whatever they had there, I just thought it'd be over in a couple of years, sort of thing.
Yeah, but there's two sides to a war. Like there's the military side and the psychological side where you win the locals. Yeah. You know, if you don't have the locals on your side, there's no way in the world you can win. Yeah, that's right. And that was the big problem. I mean, look at the Germany when they had France and all those other countries during the Second World War, and the partisans were always against them. And though they could never sort of beat the Germans, they certainly created problems all the way through. And it was a similar situation, that we couldn't win the locals. And militarily we were doing very well, I guess, you know, by sheer weight of firepower, but yeah, if you don't win the people, you don't win the war.
well, I suppose we had a lot of rogues, a lot of people who might have been regarded as perhaps misfits, in people who in a military system were able to meld together into a very tight, comradely force. I mean, this is the Australian, I think.
My lasting impression was pride in the group I was with and the manner in which they set out to do the job that was given to them. Others can argue about whether it was right or wrong, but within that perspective, they did the job and did it superbly.
I suppose primarily it's the humour of the soldier and the digger, and his sense of fun, and his sense of fair play, his sense of honour. I think the dignity of the soldier is the thing that's always come through to me strongly. It's amazing, particularly amongst Australian soldiers, amongst their own diggers. It's magnificent. And I think the only other memory is that it's a great shame that we had to go to Vietnam and fight without a coherent strategic policy in our national interests.
Colour party! By the right! Quick!